We love block parties. Block parties are the best. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad. Of course she's going to do that because she's amazing like that. But it's okay. Crystal ball. She's such a silly lady who thinks she knows everything. It's fine. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is, what is it? It's Wednesday, September 15th. It's the middle of September. And yesterday we did a video about LuLaRich and Meri Brown. And there has been an explosion of attention now focused on LuLaRoe, the leggings and patterned company that exploded in like 2016, 2017, fell apart around 2017, 2018, and the sort of fall from grace of this company. Now, LuLaRich does go through a lot of things that happened between like 2015 and 2017, and then goes into some lawsuits that were filed of the aftermath of how this sort of pyramid scheme in a way collapsed, but still exists. But this has brought out a lot of vengeance by the people that are still at LuLaRoe, and they want to staunchly defend what has been put out by the producers at Amazon. So Amazon interviewed, and the production team at Amazon Studios interviewed Deanne and Mark. They interviewed former employees. They interviewed former consultants. They interviewed a lot of people. They had court records. They had attorneys. It was in depth. And they even had a current LuLaRoe consultant represented as terms of like how happy she still was. So there was all sides of this story represented, and people with LuLaRoe are saying that it's been edited to look a certain type of way, and that editing makes it look like things are worse than they are. So imagine yesterday I did a video and I basically explained how Miss Meri Brown was using a tactic in her sales, which is something that was a part of the LuLaRich video series, where they talked about how Deanne had kind of instructed the people, her consultants, to inspire people to become consultants by sharing their stories of inspiration, which one consultant said she was encouraged to share like her rags to riches or her sob story to sort of gain sympathy to people, to show like, hey, if I can do this, anyone can do this. And it was also corroborated by someone who's currently in LuLaRoe and talking about how she shares her rags to riches story. So obviously when I pointed this out and I sort of, stated like Meri is still very invested in this cult, Meri is still using these tactics, Meri is employing the skills that Mark and Deanne Stidham have told her what to do. And yesterday she went live selling clothes on her Facebook. And during her sales, it started out and she was so flustered. And obviously there's a lot of press right now around LuLaRoe. So the heat was not necessarily coming from my reporting, but rather this documentary that's #1 in the United States on Amazon. And Amazon is like the largest digital seller and the largest, seller period on the internet. So obviously if it's on Amazon's #1 list, that means a lot of people are watching it. I'm seeing comments about it everywhere. And so on her comments, immediately all these people are asking for her opinions, what she thinks, what she feels. And this is what she said.
I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm pretty sure that some people are on here not being very nice about a certain documentary that is out, that you need to understand that not all things that are edited are correct. I'm just saying.
So Meri says that it was edited a certain way, that you can't believe everything that you see because it's edited a certain way, and that things are not as they appear, okay? Then when someone started mentioning about some of the reporting that I did, Meri actually further, like, she was agitated in this live stream. And, you know, I'm sure it's hard to get a lot of backlash when something like this of this magnitude comes out and your livelihood is at stake. So I'm going to extend her a little bit of grace here, because I understand that she has a lot of income coming in from this. And when damning things like this happen and your business is at stake, it's easy to feel pressured. So she got upset because I had reported on this, and then she had made these comments about me.
Like, Crystal Ball? Oh no. Crystal Ball is like the biggest joke of somebody who thinks she knows info, but she's not. So she knows nothing. It's super. Sarah, we should talk about the boyfriend when Crystal is on here. That'll give her some fodder for her silly little thingy that she does. Okay. Happened, Kimberly? Because she probably watches me. I blocked her from my group, but you know, she's a weirdo, and I don't even care. And she'll talk trash about me, and I don't even care, because I have actually seen some of her videos where she talks about like her family, and I don't know where she gets her information, because it's comical. Okay.
So I think she calls me comical, and she says that I don't know anything about her family, and that I don't have any information, and that she's even watched some of my videos, and I think, like, she says, I think I know it all, and whatever, you know. Obviously, she's triggered because people have seen Lula Rich. She's triggered because there's been a lot of people, not just me, pointing out her involvement in this company still. Meri is a top producer for LuLaRoe. Her income, according to LuLaRoe's own financial statements, represent the top 2.2% of the entire company. And so for Meri, she is in a way likely just sort of deflecting that anger on the reporting onto me. And I, for my reporting of her, usually just follow the show, and then I also follow what she posts on social media and what they publicly put out there. Sometimes I've had the opportunity to speak to people in her family, like Kristen Decker, who is Christine's aunt, but Kristen has an estranged relationship with the family, so obviously she can only share with me things that she knows from the outside. And then people from Flagstaff have contacted me, and honestly, no one has said anything bad about them. Like, I don't dislike these people. I don't like their involvement in this LuLaRoe company. That's it. So for Meri, she got upset with me, and then she also kept going back because people kept asking questions. And so finally someone asked her again what she thought about this lawsuit, and she called it fake news.
Just that it's a bunch of bogus on the fake news. Okay. Small, medium, and large.
Okay. So LuLaRoe has had its fair share of lawsuits, over 50, I think. Over 100 women and families have declared bankruptcies. Women have lost everything, have had their divorces. You know, there's been thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that have lost money. So I wanted to look at the facts rather than attack Meri, because the facts are what we can actually look at, not at Meri's anger, and also have some empathy to the fact that Meri does acknowledge that she was going through a really tough time when she found LuLaRoe. And so in a lot of ways, Meri was a victim to LuLaRoe. And instead of seeing the writing on the wall, Meri is going to go down in flames with the company. And that's the unfortunate part here, in my opinion. First off, I want to just direct you to Washington State Attorney General, because this is the man that actually sued LuLaRoe and successfully dismantling their pyramid scheme. He said this: Those of you watching LuLaRich learned a lot about our first of its kind lawsuit against LuLaRoe. As a result, we obtained $4 million for Washington retailers who, according to the information produced by LuLaRoe, likely lost money under LuLaRoe's greed-fueled pyramid structure. We sent out checks to 3,617 individuals, 2883 checks totaling $3.182 million have been cashed as of August 30th. If you are a Washington retailer with questions about our case, contact us for restitution. So that was the first one. So they paid over $4 million in damages to the state of Washington. Bob Ferguson also said this in a separate post. LuLaRoe preyed on individuals, mostly women, with deceptive promises of empowerment in order to lure them into the illegal pyramid structure. Its conduct was gross and illegal. Those are his words. If you're watching the docuseries LuLaRich on Amazon Prime, you will see some of the work of my excellent legal team, including our depositions of LuLaRoe's founders. My office brought the first state anti-pyramid scheme lawsuit against LuLaRoe. As a result, we shut down the illegal pyramid scheme, and 3,600 Washington residents received checks from my office totaling $4 million. So that's what the Attorney General says. So if an Attorney General says to me, or says to the world, like, we sued them for running a pyramid scheme, they agreed to pay this, and we have paid these people back, and we basically, it was a settlement, but at the same time, like, if you're paying damages, you're admitting some sort of liability here. And as a product of that settlement, they also have to do income disclosures on their website. And because of that, they have a ton of information available for anyone that has 2 seconds to look at their website, because when you go to lularoe.com, on the tab over here, you can see it says income disclosure statements. When you click on the tab, you notice that there's an income disclosure statement and a Washington income disclosure. These were put onto LuLaRoe's website as a product of what happened with the Washington state lawsuit. When you open the income disclosure statement, for 2020, it says, LuLaRoe's mission is to provide an opportunity for people to create freedom by selling comfortable, affordable, stylish clothing. We offer independent fashion retailers, blah, 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 blah. So when we get down here, it says for the year 2020, the average retailer gross profit was $10,073, while the median profit was $1,444.65. The distribution of all retailers is presented by this chart. When you look at the chart, you do notice that there is about 18% of people that made nothing or negative income. In fact, 16.7% of LuLaRoe retailers had a net loss of anywhere from $1 to $4,099. So then they say in 2020, 14.62% of all retailers earned earnings through the leadership compensation plan. 85.38 did not. Of them, the leadership compensation earnings of retailers was the average was $1235.97, with the median earnings being $0. So I'm guessing the leadership compensation would be their bonuses. So their gross profit for a retailer is $10,000. Median gross profit is $1,400. For the actual bonuses, only 14% of all of them receive them. And then they also say that for those who earned under the leadership compensation plan, the average earnings were $8,500, with the median around $520.99. The distributions for these 14.62% retailers is below. And you notice that 77% of the bonuses are only going to between 0 and 5,000, and that only the small percentage at the very end where Meri is at 2.35%. So most of the funding, most of the people that are getting bonuses are not getting big bonuses, but Meri and her friends at the top are, and their bonuses can be exceeding more than 75,000. So when you're considering profits made through retail sales, not including earnings through the leadership program, the gross profit of a retail in 2020 was $88.37. So if you're going in this to make money and you want to make a full-time job living, your only profit, the median with, or the gross, the average was $8,800. That's less than minimum wage. And they say the median was $14.38. And again, when you look at this, 50% of people were making between $1,000 and $5,000. And then again, if you look at this, 18% either had zero to negative amounts of money. So when you stack it up in this way, and this is from their website, they're showing to you that even though there are people that are being successful on this platform and there are people being successful, it's very, very small, that the majority of people are making negligible income because this is not supposed to be a part-time job. And when you're thinking about the amount of costs that it takes and the time it takes away from these families and these people, it's a lot to make only a few $1,000s a year. And then for 18% or 20% of people to make zero or nothing, that tells you that there's a large percentage of people that are losing every single day at this company. You're going to have a lot of stories of loss and of, exploitation when 2% of the company is getting the bulk of the money. So when Meri is making statements of it's fake news, it's not true, you only have to look at the facts, and the facts speak for themselves. They were sued by the state of Washington. They did agree to a settlement. They've had to make changes. They have to have a buyback program now. They also have to they also had to reduce and change their compensation model. So they might be doing things better, but the state of Washington also gets to look at how they manage their company consistently. So if they make changes, they can always be looking at this company. Not to mention they have so many lawsuits going on right now. The company's assets are going to shrink. Their profits are going to shrink. And their profits have been going down for years. They were making at one point over $1 billion, and now, they're not. It's a sinking ship. It's just who knows how long it'll take for the ship to finally sink. So Meri is mad at the coverage and is upset with me, but again, I'm just delivering you the information, and it's up to you to decide how you feel. I hope for Meri's sake that she finds something that is not as predatory, as well as she realizes that she was also preyed upon by the Stidhams and that these people are not her friends. But it takes some people longer than others. So I've had quite a few people from LuLaRoe, current and past people, reach out, including some people in Meri's downline that have left, working on getting some interviews for you so that you can get some testimonials from people that have actually been through LuLaRoe's programs. But tell me what your thoughts are about this in the comments below. Bye, guys.